With the acoustic guitar finally wrapped up, there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about related to the entire build. So let's chat for a few minutes. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Home Built Workshop. I hope you're all doing great. This is going to be the final episode of the acoustic guitar build. It's not really part of the build, but there are some things that I wanted to mention in case you are preparing for your own acoustic guitar build. Some key takeaways, let's call it. First off are just some words of encouragement. If you're wanting to tackle a build like this, just know ahead of time that there is a ton of work that's going to need to be involved, but don't let that stop you. Yes, it may be daunting as you're thinking of all of the things that you need to do, all of the processes you need to learn. Don't let that hinder you. Just jump in, get started, and take your time, learn as you go, and you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be able to get it done, because that's exactly what I did. Over the last 11 months or so, I've been working on this project. Now, don't let that 11 months scare you. I didn't spend 11 months straight working on this instrument. I had other things that I was working on, other projects that needed to be done, but over the course of almost a year, I was able to build what is probably the best sounding guitar that I personally have ever played. Wow. So I just want to encourage you not to let the overall process and the size of the process scare you away from doing it. I want to encourage you to still jump in and start the project. You will be so happy by the time you get it done and you hear how amazing your newly crafted instrument sounds. It's well worth it. The second thing that I want to bring up is the importance of having kind of a teacher or a mentor to help you out and answer questions along the way. Now, this could be a ton of different things. This could be just watching a ton of videos. You can learn a lot of information just by watching some YouTube videos. Maybe you have a local luthier or a local repair shop in your area, and you can get to know them, or maybe you already know them, and use them as a resource. I have some local builders here in my area, as well as some friends in the repair industry working at music shops and stuff. Those are all great sources of information. A lot of times they will share the information. Once in a while you run into people who don't really want to share the information. Those are probably not the people that you want on your side anyway. You want people on your side that you can call, text, email, message, go visit, whatever, to help you out along the way. Now, maybe you don't have someone local you can call on to help answer questions and give advice. There are several professional luthiers who have guitar building courses that will walk you through the entire process along the way. I personally have gone through Eric Schaefer's online guitar building course, and I tell you what, it was the biggest help to get through a lot of these steps. I watched every single video all the way through, and some of them several times, 3 and 4 times on some of them, for certain areas where I really was trying to figure out my workflow, learn the process. I highly recommend going through Eric's course. I can personally vouch for that, but I also know that there are other luthiers who have similar courses also offering the same kind of information. So I highly recommend, especially if this is your first build, that you get one of these online courses. It will help you out even if you have somebody on your side in your area that you can call on. The combination of the two is just awesome. It's great to have the course material all laid out, seeing somebody doing these steps. Then, if you have somebody local, you can call on them to get some little details in between that maybe you don't quite understand. It's just great if you have this course material that you can fall back on. The third thing that I want to let you know about is if you've seen any of the videos in my series, you will know that there are tons and tons of jigs. I'm surrounded by them right now. I think I've collected most of the jigs anyway. I've probably forgotten a few, but you will spend a ridiculous amount of time making jigs, fixtures, templates, just so you can build this instrument. And I don't say that as a negative thing. There's some good things that come out of that because you understand exactly why you're doing what you're doing when you're building the jig, and you also find ways to improve them. But a fairly large amount of time is going to be spent building jigs. Right from the beginning, you're going to need things like the molds. You're going to need some radius dishes, which I have right here, which for mine are going to be converted to be used as the go bar deck. So it's kind of multi-purpose. You're going to have most likely, you know, just some master templates to use for things, for laying out braces and stuff like that. Back here I have my bending molds. I have jigs for trimming the fretboard flush. I have a jig here for routing the mortise and tenon. I've got a binding jig. I have tons of little templates and things that I've designed on the computer and 3D printed the parts and templates. MDF that I'm throwing on the floor. I've got MDF headstock templates, jigs for slotting the saddle. Now, a lot of these you can buy commercially, but if you were to buy all of these jigs commercially, you'd have quite a lot of money invested in just the jigs. Now, these all do require materials, so you still need to buy, you know, MDF and stuff like that, but it is considerably cheaper to make the jigs yourself. Yes, it contributes to the time that you need to spend on this build, and there's probably a week or two or more, I don't know, of time spent just building different jigs and templates and fine-tuning things. All of that is going to extend the amount of time you spend on your build, but these things can now be reused. So that means your second build, if you do the same body style and everything, you don't have to spend that time. A lot of these are a one-time investment of time and materials. Just know going into this that there's a ton of jigs, a ton of fixtures, templates, and whatnot that you're going to need to do this build. But again, not scary. Just know that ahead of time and be prepared to make all of these fixtures. And probably the last thing that I want to point out is after you've invested all of this time, money into jigs, fixtures, tools, materials, and finished your overall instrument, and you get to hear it play and know that you have made this from, like I mentioned in another video, a pile of sticks, that sort of makes all of the other stuff not matter. Yeah, it might sound a little bit cheesy, but really, when I first heard my guitar play and hearing all of the harmonics and the sound that it's creating, it makes it all worth it, and I no longer cared that I spent 11 months working on this project. The satisfaction of creating an instrument, especially an acoustic guitar, it's awesome. I'm just telling you, it is worth the time to go through all of this work to complete that instrument. There has been no other project where I have felt quite so proud to have finished it. And I just want to let you know that, yes, the process is long. There's a lot of work involved. You probably will make mistakes. My instrument, it's got flaws. But really, when I listen to it, none of that matters. I know, it's cheesy. It sounds cheesy. I get it. But I'm telling you, it really doesn't. It is absolutely 100% worth the time spent to build your instruments. So I want to encourage you, if you're going to tackle a project like this, absolutely 100% do it. It is worth it. Trust me on that. You won't be sorry. So these are just a few takeaways that I've learned in the past 11 months building my own acoustic guitar. Before we wrap this up and I go play my new guitar, I want to let you know, if you haven't seen the videos from my series, there's links down in the description. You can check out the playlist. Also, there's links to Eric Schaefer's website where you can check out his guitar building course or anybody else's, but links for Eric's are down below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I want to encourage you again, if you want to do this, don't be afraid. Jump in, get it done. We'll see you next time.